Okay, finally, I've been playing around with some of this stuff to see what works best and what would be simplest for you if you've never done it before. Um, First of all, you need to select images, and there's some pitfalls, some things to look out for when you select images. So we're just going to go to Google Images, images dot, whoops, google.com, and we're going to search first for American flag. And things to look out for. Now, an image like this that takes up the whole space is fine. And a graphic like this, which has a solid background, is fine. This image would be a little tough because of all the blues. Even the blues go into the flag, so it'd be hard to separate. You're going to have to remove the background here, and it'd be very difficult to remove the background. So look for images that would be easy to use. This image would be fine, except that you'd have to use selection tools like the selection brush or the lasso or whatever selection tools you use to select the flag, because the sky has different shades of whites and grays and some blues kinds of things in it, and be difficult to select, but not impossible. This flag would be easy to select from the background because there's a boundary, an outline around the entire flag. This flag would be very difficult, and this flag would be very difficult, because if you went to select the white on the outside, it would also select the white on the inside, the white stripes. This flag would be fairly easy because it's got almost the same color blue background. You could use the magic wand tool on the blue background, and then just use your selection brush with the deselect mode on it, and just, clean it up. It'd take a little bit of time. Okay, now I've already selected some flags, so I don't need to select any more, but just to tell you what to look for. This flag would be okay, this graphic, because it has an outline around the entire flag. Now, the next thing we would want to look for are fireworks. Let's just type that in. There are a ton of those. And the other thing to look out for is size. This firework looks nice, but it's only 220 by 293 pixels. It's very, very small. Now, this would be impossible to do because of all the little bits and pieces around. You want a kind of clean-looking firework. This one you could do and put a flag, superimpose a flag on it. These you could do. This one not, because look at all the smoke. Where there's fireworks, there's smoke, and the smoke is really hard to deal with. So you want to get a firework, like this group would be okay, actually. This one would be perfect. Okay, and it's big. It's 1200 pixels by 1200 pixels. That's another one. This one would be very difficult because of all the smoke and all the colors intermingled. And one like this would be very difficult because of all the smoke. Okay, this one would be fairly easy. And where's another one? This one would be fairly easy. This one would be fairly easy. Although you can, if you look closely, you can see there's a lot of gray in here, but we can clean that up. Okay, so you can kind of pick the fireworks. And you're going to have to experiment anyway. It's not like you'll do it the first time and do it perfectly. Good heavens. Okay, let's open Elements. I've already chosen a few fireworks here. So they're fairly clean. And a couple of flag images. We're going to try to do it two different ways. The first way is just a simple overlay, and that's very, very easy to do. So I'm going to, you can either right-click Restore, or just click and drag it out there into the workspace. Okay. Now, if you look down here, you can see smoke in this lower left, or excuse me, lower right corner. And the flag, I've already removed the gray background on this with the magic wand tool, so we don't have to worry about that. I can show you how to do it again in a minute. Let's remove the smoke. First of all, it's the background layer. It's locked. This is the original image. We don't want to work on this. You can right-click, Layer from Background. Just click OK on that. Or you can drag it down to the new layer icon, Over here on the right, drag the background layer to the trash can. Same thing, you get a regular layer to work with. Okay, now let's get rid of the smoke. Easiest way to do that, come back down and look for the half moon icon, the adjustment layer icon. Click on it. Click on levels. Okay, we want to remove, if you take, the levels has 3 triangles at the bottom of the graph. The black points, which if you move to the right makes things darker. The white point, which if you move it to the right, to the left, makes things lighter. And the middle one, which is like contrast. Now if you move the middle one over to the left, you can see where all the smoky areas are down here toward the bottom, and where it's kind of ghosting up here at the top. So to get rid of that, we want to kind of move the contrast over. And when we do, we have to reach a happy medium. You don't want to get rid of all the details. We can lighten it up just a little bit. And we can move the dark one over. You just kind of play with those until it looks nice. There's a pretty nice one right there. Okay. Okay, there's our firework. We've kind of cleaned it up. We've gotten rid of the smoke. Is the smoke still there? Sure. We brighten it up far enough, but we don't need to do that. We want to have the detail in our firework without having the hassles of the smoke. Okay, now this is fairly easy to do. Let me see if I can undo this one a little bit here. Okay, now you can see it has the gray there. All I did was use the magic wand tool. Tolerance set to 20. This one could be set on new or add. It doesn't matter. Contiguous is check marked. And I just click it, and then I click delete, and then Control D. I got rid of it. Click on the move tool. And this is just click on the flag, drag it over, and put it on top of the firework. You can make it bigger. I'm going to turn it a little bit right like that. You can make it wider, longer, however you'd like to do it. Click. There you go. Now it's positioned. Let me get rid of this adjustments part. Come up here where it says normal. Drop down. Click on overlay. Boom, you got a flag superimposed on your firework. Right? Right. Okay, now this is where the experimenting comes in. It kind of looks like it fits, and it kind of looks like it doesn't. We don't need the flag there now. Okay, let me get rid of the project bin. Let me expand the view so you can see it better. There we go. And you know, it doesn't look like it fits right in there. So let's move the levels layer up to the top. And let's kind of play with this a little bit. Okay. Now you notice how we're affecting the firework. Let's move it back down using undo so we get the same. Let's give the flag its own levels layer. Adjustments, levels. Okay, now we want this levels up here to apply only to the flag. Hold down the Alt key, and as you move your cursor up at the boundary between the two layers, it turns into this little lock. Right click. Now, whatever we do will only apply to the flag. You can lighten it up. Make it fit in there a little more. Now, the other thing that'll make the flag look a little bit more like it belongs is click on the flag layer. Come up here to Filter, Blur, Radial Blur. Make sure it's Zoom, quality is best. And give it a little bit of blur. Give it about 8. See what that does to it. Okay, now notice how the stars got all blurred out of shape. I want the red stripes to be blurred a little more. I want these lines to be blurred, but I don't necessarily want the stars to be blurred. So I'm going to use a selection brush. Mode is set to selection. Hardness is 100%. I've got it fairly well, since this doesn't have to be an exact. Oops. The other thing to make sure your flag layer is. And I want to just blur these lines, the red and white stripes, and the line here at the edge of the blue field. Let's go up here like this. Okay, and only on the flag layer. So then we can go to Filter, Blur, and we can do a radial blur. I'm going to boost it up to 11 and see what that does. It does a little bit. The other thing we can do is Filter, Blur. We could give it a Gaussian blur. And that blurs it even more. Kind of makes it fit in a little better. Control D. And we have the field of the stars, which stands out. And now the lines. You can see the lines if you look close here. Let me magnify a piece of it. You can see where they fit in more on the... Now, I don't know why these front ones don't overlay with the red. To tell you the truth, I just have no idea. You fit on screen. Well, that's one way to get your American flag superimposed onto a firework. Now, another way, let me put that one down, open the project bin, is a little more obtuse. Now, I haven't used this guy before, so we're going to see how that works. I'm just going to superimpose them. Now, we want the flag to basically be the same size as this one. This is only 71%. Let's, this guy has a little bit of gray in here, so let's work on him first. Turn the background layer into a regular layer. And then we're going to add a levels. And we can see where the smoke is around there. We don't want to get rid of all of it. Okay. Alright, then we got the flag, which is the same thing. Drag them down here, drag it to the trash can. Okay, size-wise, let's make size first. We want the, let's do this guy, image, resize, image size, don't touch it. Come up here to window, all the files you have open are down here. I know this flag is the 2A, click it, and just click OK. Now this one's actually the same size as the flag. You notice it gets distorted because fireworks generally tend to be a little square and this flag is a rectangle. Just use the move tool here. Click on it. There we go. Now we could superimpose again. We've got a big square. I want to crop that. There we go. Crop the place off. What we're going to do is we're going to turn this firework into a mask to put over the flag, and you're going to see how that works. So first thing we have to do is select, whoops, all, and then because we've got two, get rid of this adjustments tab, we've got two layers here. We just can't copy this. We have to copy the whole thing. So edit, copy, merged. Then we're going to go back to our flag. Come down here, the second icon from the left, which looks like a camera facing, it's a square with a circle in it. Click on it and we add a mask. Hold down the Alt key And okay, woo, your image turns white. And then just edit, paste. Now, what's happened? The eye here is grayed out. Click the eye. Okay, there's your masked, superimposed firework. Now, why does it look so weird? Because we're looking at this firework in the daytime. Fireworks only are shot off at night for a reason. Come down here to the bottom left of the layers palette, click the new layer icon, click and drag it down below. Come back to the toolbar, make sure your foreground color is black. Use the paint bucket tool, put it in there. Voila. Okay. Now, a couple ways we can do this. Let me see. Inverse, delete. It doesn't work. Just cancel it out. Use the crop tool. No restriction on the aspect mode. Okay, you're going to crop off the part of the American flag. Now, that's awfully dark, right? So let's add another levels adjustment layer to it and brighten her up. Okay, lower, see the middle one? I'm down here using the little triangles. Now you don't want to increase it too much, or you see you're getting the American flag showing through in the background here. You still need to have some kind of contrast, which is weird because I've never had that happen before where the flag showed through. Usually by the time you here. There we go. Okay. Now, once again, you can make the flag show all the way through if you want to. Now, the other thing you can try on this one, on the flag, is lowering the opacity, but that lowers the opacity on the firework too. We don't want the firework to be quite that. Okay, what else can you do with this? You can go to Enhance, Lighting, Shadows, and Highlights, and lighten everything up that way. Okay. And then lower this. When you lower the contrast using the shadows and highlights, a lot of the flag doesn't show through anymore. Okay, so where do we find this? Enhance, Lighting, Shadows, and Highlights. And there you have that on there. Now the flag still looks kind of too brightly colored, right? So come up here to Enhance, Color, Hue and Saturation, and desaturate it a little bit. That's how you turn things black and white. Take some of the color out of it, and you can also lighten it up. There. Okay, so you can play with the enhance menu and this, that, and the other. But these are the two easiest ways. You can also make a bump map and a few other things, but we've got our flag showing through there on the other side. Here, let's, there we go. But mostly it's just, touch and go. Once you learn the technique, then you have to experiment with it and with the kinds of images you have to get the look you want. You can't take a cow and pretend it's pork chops. That's that kind of thing. So it's one of those deals where everything kind of has to mesh. You have to work with the image you have, not the image you want. And but you can have a lot of fun with it, and it helps you learn the program by experimenting a little bit. And the thing, what I recommend is if you find a technique that works best for you, keep a notepad or something handy, and write down the steps where you go, I know it's a real hassle at the beginning, but otherwise you're not going to remember what you've done, and it helps you really to learn the program a lot better. Okay, I hope you have fun.